My name's Ron Ojeda, and I'm a manager with the Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection at the City and County of Denver. And the Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection, I want to say that its mission is to help people to empower themselves to live better lives. We have four basic programs that we have for our residents. And the first one is financial coaching. Financial coaching is really kind of that, that main program that we have that really lets us get out into the communities. And what they will do is they will help you to get a grip on your financial life and kind of take control back, especially if it's been several years since you've actually had a financial life, right? So they're going to help you to take a look at what a budget's going to look like. No matter how small or how large it is, you've got to be able to take that snapshot to see what it is. And then they're going to help you do things such as taking care of debt maybe that's hanging over from before you went to prison. They can help you to manage and get rid of that debt, okay? Help you to start actually saving money and actually start getting a credit score again. You're going to really need a credit score because without that, you're not going to be able to, 3 years down the line, be able to get credit so you can buy a car, so you can get to work, so you can stop relying on public transportation. And you know what? It'll actually make you feel a little bit better about yourself too. The next program is Bank On. And what Bank On does is we work with all the major banks and the credit unions in the city and county of Denver. And because they work with us, they've created these products, these bank products, so it's easier to open up a bank account. For example, let's say no minimum deposit required, right? You don't have to come up with money to open up a bank account. And then they make it so that you can't get like an NSF fee. So if you accidentally write a check that you shouldn't have written, that you're going to overdraft, and we've all done it, it won't let you do it. It won't let you get in trouble, right? So that's really key because along with credit scores, you've got to be able to have access to the banking system, because without that, you're not going to be able to go back and buy that car or even buy a home. Yes, I'm saying buy a home, let's say 5 years from now. The next program is navigation. And I'm going to let Brandon talk a little bit about that. He's our lead navigator. He knows a lot more about it even than I do.
Thank you, Ron. Hello, my name is Brandon Gibson. I'm the lead financial navigator for the Office of Financial Empowerment and Protection. So I can tell you a little bit about our navigation services. When you come in through the door to access any of the services that my colleague Ron here has mentioned, we can provide navigation to available social services, available financial services, legal resources, things that might be able to help you lift yourself and your family up and carry you through any difficult times and get you ahead. And then, as Ron said, pair you with financial coaching and any other additional assistance that might be necessary for you. We'll stick through you. We'll help you figure out any paperwork that needs to be filled out to access any programs, and just be an advocate for you through the process. So we don't like to just send you away and say good luck. We like to stick with you through the process and make sure you get access to any available services.
So the last piece of what we do is consumer financial protection. What does that mean? It's not, you don't come to us if you have a broken toaster, right? Consumer financial protection helps people who are at risk, whether it's low-income people, whether it's you're an immigrant or a refugee, undocumented in some way, whether you're making a re-entry into society, and you can feel a bit vulnerable because you don't exactly know what you're doing and how to get started. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that people aren't going to be taking advantage of you in certain kinds of things. We have 5 primary issues that we focus on. The first is wage theft. And wage theft is prevalent in the state of Colorado. $750 million in wage theft every year in this state. And what I tell people who are victims, because a lot of times they're ashamed, I can't believe I was taken advantage of. There's no shame in this. It happens to so many people. And you don't have to be uneducated to have it happen to you either. It can literally happen to anybody. So we will help people who have been victims of wage theft by taking their complaint, and then, for example, let's say we send them to a state-run office like the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment. Maybe we send them to the auditor's office because they actually have a job on a project that's actually funded by the city. We'll make sure that their issue, their complaint is being handled. And while that's being handled, if you're like 65% of the people in this country, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Maybe it's caused something else to happen. Maybe you haven't been able to pay your rent. You can't put food on the table. We're going to help you to get you those resources to make sure we're going to stabilize what's going on while you're waiting to get that paycheck. The next thing we do is we do predatory housing practices. The first thing you're going to have to do when you get out is you're going to have to find a new home, right? And we want to make sure that you're going to be treated fairly by a landlord that you want to get a home with. We're going to make sure that you can use those housing vouchers with a landlord in the appropriate places, of course, right? By appropriate, I don't mean a dump. I mean an appropriate housing, so as to say, look, you're supposed to be able to use these vouchers within all this housing, right? There are times you're going to run into somebody say, I'm not going to take that voucher because they found out you just came out. That's not right. There are laws to protect you. Then there's predatory lending practices. And you're all going to be kind of living tight, living paycheck to paycheck. There's sometimes it's going to come up where all of a sudden, boom, you're going to have a $300 expense that you weren't planning. And you're going to be tempted to go to one of these payday lenders. We call them predatory lenders, where they can say, oh yeah, we'll give you the money now and don't worry about it. You could pay us when you get your next paycheck, or maybe the next 2 paychecks. In this state, more than 2/3 of all people who take out these payday loans never pay off those loans. And it's not for trying, because they do try to pay off these loans. But the fact is that sometimes the fees on these can equal paying 400 to 800% interest in comparison to going to, for example, a bank. I know you can't go to a bank now, but I want you to look at that option to say, that is the absolute positive, last place I want to go. You've got to be able to find something else. Get a side job, if you have a vehicle, drive for Uber, do something, but just don't do that. Then there's elder financial abuse, and unless some of you are older than, let's say, 65 years old, you probably aren't going to be worried about that, but we don't do anything in that regard. However, for people who do call us up, who know a relative has been taken advantage of, your mom's been taken advantage of by somebody while you were in, right? An untrusting relative or even a close friend, you could call us and we're going to refer you to the Denver Police Department and to the District Attorney's Office to make sure that your elder family members are protected. And the final one is something that's going to be experienced by women and men who are coming out. They're part of the Latino communities, right? I'm Mexican American myself. And if you go to Mexico, you'll see notarios everywhere. So the issue is notario fraud. And what a notario is, it's not something that really exists in Mexico. These people are quasi-attorneys who help people deal with the government. Immigration paperwork, get your driver's licenses for their business. They're real, they're licensed. But in this country, they don't exist. And there are people who hang up a shingle and say they're a notario in the Latino neighborhood, and Latinos who are maybe undocumented, they're immigrants, they're trying to get through the process legally to say, that guy can help me. No, he can't, or he may be able to, but there's no reason he should be charging for you, because in many instances, they are giving you services that are free from government agency offices, local, state, or federal offices, right? So if you have complaints in these areas, if you have problems in these areas, you can come to us, tell us what happened, and we will try to get you help. Remember, you're not alone. There's a lot of people out there who want to help you. There's a lot of people out there who really hate having people in at-risk populations get taken advantage of, and I'm one of them.
To access our services, it's really easy. We have a number of ways that you can contact us. You can give us a call. It's 720-944-2498, or you can contact us by email. It's FEC, that's Frank Edward Charlie, FEC@denvergov.org. Please reach out. We have navigators that are happy to talk to you, tell you about all of our services, and help lift you up and get you going and keep moving forward. Thank you.